If you're looking to start an SMMA agency, then this is the video for you. I'm interviewing Matthew King, who's just a regular, everyday guy who owns a power washing company and started his own SMMA agency. Now, Matthew was able quickly to ramp up his agency within a short couple of months to over $15,000 per month reoccurring revenue. And in this short video, I asked Matthew to break down his entire process. The very first thing that I asked him is why he even started an SMMA agency in the first place and how he went about it. So check it out.
I actually started my um, my agency just to help pay for my power washing company, pretty much to help with expenses and such. I always ran my own ads for my own company, so it's like I can charge $300 here and there, and just help with some bills, all right. So that's what I started doing, kind of freelancing, and then it turned into, well, if I'm doing really good for these guys, I'm going to kind of focus on this a little bit. And that's what I did. It was July 6th of 2022. I decided to go full time at it. And all I did was every day I was at the computer learning stuff. I'll probably watch all your videos. I bought a few of your courses. But my main goal overall was just, financial freedom. I want to be able to travel and, have nice things and, be able to save up for my little kids' college fund. So.
Sure. So your local business, when did you start that? How long have you been in the power washing space? In general, just kind of overall.
Yeah. So actually, I was involved in a really bad wreck where I was in a wheelchair for a year, and then I couldn't go back to my old job. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I learned the whole soft washing, power washing industry, and I just started doing that. But I started that in 2020. Yeah, 2020. So it's going on our third year now. And, since I started this agency, like I said before, I'm not on the truck anymore. I have a full-time crew that runs it. I don't do anything except for the marketing for it.
Okay. That's good, man. So, how was the transition? Did you find that going from, a local business owner, because there's definitely like challenges and nuances with running and operating a local business, that I feel like a lot of times people who want to jump into the client game, or they want to run an agency or freelance or something like that, they really don't quite understand the challenges that business owners are facing, because you as a business owner probably got bombarded with like hundreds of emails and phone calls every single week from dudes saying the same thing, right? Probably, oh, we're going to guarantee you 1,000 leads this month or you don't pay. And everyone's saying the same thing. So did you find, your experience running and operating a local business to transitioning into the client side of things online, did that help you with that transition, or what was it? What was that like for you, as far as like what was going through your head through this period?
My mentality getting into it was, of course, as a power washing business owner, you get all of these spam emails and texts and that kind of thing. I knew starting my agency, I needed to rely more on. I don't do cold calling or cold DMs. I don't do any of that. I knew, because of my own power washing company. Yes, I run my own ads, but really stuck it out for my power washing company was my brand. Word of mouth. Oh yeah, he does great work. I knew if I built a good review, because my power washing company, we have 108 5-star reviews, and I did that in only 3 years. So that what happens a lot is whenever you run these ads for my own local company, people will look you up on Google and be like, oh, we have great reviews, and then they'll call us or fill out the form, that kind of thing. So I knew with my agency how to really stick out was to do great work, build a brand, offer refunds that, if someone really, really wasn't satisfied, which I've only had two or three, then, I would give them a full refund, it's a risk free for them pretty much. But we do extremely well with our agency, but just pretty much branding. I knew I had to stick out and get referrals.
Okay, cool. So going into the online space or generating your own clients, what did you talk to me about the first steps, right? Like how did you? Because a lot of people, I think, are kind of stuck in the like tactic as opposed to just kind of grinding and just doing the things that are going to push you forward every single day. Which when you own a local business, you don't have the luxury of saying, well, what is this, tactic that I need to kind of learn over 6 months? It's like you got to go and you got to do these things every single day, or your business is not going to grow and your family's not going to eat. Like
Yeah.
that's just, I think, a big mind shift with what guys who jump in SMMA, is that they are not fully committed to doing those things every single day, and those things are not sexy. As a local business owner, they're not sexy, man. Like the invoicing and the going and the quoting and the refund sometimes and the customer service and the all that stuff, going home at 8 o'clock at night, having your invoices on the table and following up with people who you may have missed. That's not like sexy, right? So people don't have experience in those things. But for you, when you first jumped into this, obviously you ran your own ads, you generating your own leads, and then how did you go and acquire your first set of customers? Uh,
Yeah, so the big difference in having a local business and an agency, a local business, okay, you can, like power washing, you put out an ad for power washing, you put a special offer out or whatnot, you get a lead, you call them, you do the estimate, they either want it or they don't. With the agency, it's completely different. You'll get the lead and then you'll talk to them, and it's just follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. A lot of guys that get into this SMMA, and what my opinion is, like you said, they're not really willing to grind for it. They see all these YouTube videos, cold call people, send them messages. Oh, I can't get a client. Oh, well, I'm trying to charge $1,500 off right off the bat. Okay, you have no Facebook presence, no Google presence. Like, why, as a consumer, why would I pay you $1,500 when I can go with this person who has X amount of reviews and referrals and that kind of thing? So what I did whenever I first started was I offered a 7-day free trial. I know a lot of guys. I got away from that because it helped me, but it attracted the I don't want to say the wrong kind of client, just the client that I don't want to target. Because typically guys who want a free trial, they it's really 50-50. They're either stick with you or not. But I know for the first month, that's how I made my first $3,500. And then the second month I went to 4,500. And then the third month I hit 15. And then the fourth I was at 40. So it's just it's really just implementing systems into your agency. Um, but yeah.
so so this is kind of important because actually it's really important because I know folks who reach out to me pretty often, and they want to jump in this and they're not willing to do that. They are not willing to give out the free trial. They are not willing to speak to somebody like a normal human. They're just not willing to have a conversation. I know guys who are like, oh, I want to hit this milestone, and I tell them, well, um, don't overcomplicate this. Like, just speak to somebody like a normal person, because that's really how business is done. And just get on the phone with them and just tell them, like, this is what I got and this is what you want, and see if it makes sense. And I'm like, you don't necessarily have to charge, at least not in the beginning, because you're starting to build that rapport. You want to build that trust and that, see if you can deliver. And some guys are not willing to even charge something like, $500 per month or even less than that to land a client. They want to go straight to like charging 5 grand a month, and then they want the client to go through all these different hoops. And like, oh, I don't even want to talk to them. I just want them to go to my Facebook ad and then go to a calendar link and then have all this stuff that happens on the background before they even get on the call. And then they are shocked as to why they can't grow when they can grow. um, I feel like when you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you get to a certain point, to a certain level where you're so busy, you can afford to have those things in place because now your reoccurring revenue is one way. But 99% of the time, any local business, it doesn't work that way. You can go to four houses and give a quote, and two or three out of those four may call you back, and you may end up with one deal. And so you as a local business owner, you kind of understand that mindset, and going into the agency, it's not something that's going to break you because you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to have a conversation with these people. So um, with that being said, did you create all these crazy systems when you first got into it, or was it just having normal conversations with people?
So when I first got into it, it's completely different than how I have it now. Because now I've completely automated my system. So from where they book a call to where if they decide to go with us, I just slide the card over and it automatically fills out the proposal and sends it to them. To when they onboard with us, to when the ads go live, everything's completely automated. When I first started, no, I didn't have any of that. What really helped me is it's a freaking golden video that you created. It was how to get SMMA clients for your business, and it was just going over, hey, send them to your messenger, have a little conversation with them, try to get them on a call, and then go about it that way. And that is the absolute best way to do it. Especially whenever you're starting off, and you have the time, because whenever you start off, you have all the time in the world to do it. But now I don't have time to go back and forth with everybody. So now it's completely automated. Like you said, you can afford to lose. The way I see it now is it's more of a funnel now, because the less serious, and then it just gets down to the more serious. It just weeds out all the ones who aren't really serious about it. But yeah, everybody wants to jump into the $1,500 a month clients, that kind of thing. Like you said, man, that they don't want to put in the work for literally, man. I mean, well, for my own company, I built my own website and I did my own SEO and everything. But what I did whenever I decided to go full into this was I learned, more into the retargeting campaigns, landing pages, building landing pages. Go high level was a huge factor that helped with my success. So you just gotta grind, like you said.
Speaking to people through Messenger, what kind of conversations did you have with them? Were they easy conversations? Did you try to make these people jump through like a gazillion hoops? Or was it just, hey, listen, let's talk, let's get on the phone, or have a messenger back and forth and see what comes out of that?
Yeah. So for me, whenever I got on the messenger with them, I wasn't trying to sell them anything. It was, hey, would you like to see some data from past clients I've worked with? Yeah, sure. Start showing them data. And I just get to know them and their business. How long have you been in the industry? What are you looking at putting towards marketing? Well, we require at least X amount per day. I don't even get into the ad management fee until last. I just focus on their business and what I can do for them, and guarantee them results. And then I get into, well, it's only X amount for us to run your ads. And a lot of people love that, the guarantee leads or your money back. Because I will do that. I will most definitely do that. Just I think a lot what helped me is having my own power washing company and actually knowing what I was talking about. I'm just not trying to create, do ads for people and I don't know anything about the industry itself, because I've actually been up there clean roofs and the driveways, and I've gotten leads for HOAs and property managers and all of that good stuff.
So what type of clients are you focusing on currently?
Currently, I specialize in, power washing, of course, but my specialty is light installers. I do a lot of work for permanent lighting and landscape lighting and holiday lighting. Those are kind of my bread and butter, because it's really what I learned to be really good at and such. So what I do different from them guys is, and why I like dealing with those guys, is because there's a difference between a small business like a power washer and a lighting company. A power washer, you know, a lot of in the power washing industry, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of new guys who can't really afford to advertise, but they want to, but they just can't afford it. But with the light installers, they understand how all the system works and the marketing and such. So they're not afraid to put money into something if it's going to make them, you know, 5, 6, 7 time return on it. So I,
Okay. Now, what do you think your big part of, or the most important piece of your success to this date with the agency? If you had to kind of pick one thing, what would you say has the most value, or is it at the top of your list of things that have made a big impact for you?
I really can't pinpoint one thing. I mean, there's several things. Really, man, finding you on YouTube is what changed it for me. I mean, in all seriousness, I watched so many of your videos. There's just so much valuable free information, and then I bought some of your courses and just really dove into it. Um, but I guess if I was to really pinpoint it, um, I mean, there's a lot of trial and error. Really, just probably between your videos and go high level, man. Really, it's the systems. Guys that get into this, one thing that's happened to me, I've had a lot of new guys reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, man, how do you do this? Man, how did you make this much money? How do you do this? How do you do that?" They're, like you said, man, they're not willing to grind to get up there and buy the courses and watch the videos and try everything, run their own ads. They just want you to like basically say, "All right, here's how you do it, do this," but they just don't want to grind for it. But um, one big thing that's helped with my business, man, was referrals. It's the branding, man, the referrals, offering a good product and standing behind it.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about your systems now, because when you started, like I tell everybody, right? Don't overcomplicate this, right? You don't need to build a, you know, hey, you don't need to go out and build this diesel engine. Like, grab your bike, go to the store, and get the eggs and milk. You don't need, you
Uh,
know, a 2 ton, diesel truck to go get eggs and milk, right? You don't need that. So, but eventually you get to the point because you're going over there and you've got like, you know, 1,000 cartons of eggs that now you got to haul, and you can't do that on a bicycle, right? So, talk to me about what you've been building now, what your systems look like now compared to how you started, and how that kind of helps you sort of like, you know, take on more without doing more.
so when I started, it was just I ran simple messenger ads, and then I got into the actual lead generation. So the systems now, um, for my clients, the system I have now compared to then is like night and day, because now I work with bigger companies, so they don't have time to message people back and forth and such. So now, of course, they have the missed call automations with the custom lead forms, and then they have the automated follow-ups with the text and email replies. They get, lead notifications sent to their phone and to their email. They have retargeting campaigns, custom landing pages, the whole nine. As far as my agency goes, like whenever I started, I was like writing down on a hand calendar, like, all right, I got to call it this time, right? well, well, I know it's funny, man, but now it's everything is completely automated. To them scheduling a call, like I'll even get automated reminders on my phone, like even to 5 minutes prior, like, hey man, you have a call in 5 minutes, because I literally get so busy with calls and stuff. So I just have the automated follow-ups and reminders. And so if I send a proposal off, like I said earlier, it's automatically generated into PandaDoc, where it just sends it off for me. My onboarding's automated. My review request is automated. Even my text message, everything. So it took a lot of weight and stress off of me because I'm like going around and setting up the ads and trying to call people and trying to set up this and that. And another thing, you're probably going to laugh at this. Discovering custom values.
Yeah.
like, um, like before, man, I was going into high level and I was typing in everything. I was resetting up all of the automations to each individual blank snapshot. Like at the time, I didn't even know that you could create a snapshot and do the custom values. So whenever you onboard somebody now, like everything's automatically filled out. I don't have to do any of that. So yeah, it's just go high level is really what changed the game.
Yeah, it's been a game changer for myself as well. I do find a lot of guys jumping into it with go high level, and right out of the gate they want to just build this massive machine, and I don't think that that's the right approach at all. I think you have to go in there, build the base, and then kind of as you go build upon the systems, because you really don't know. You spend all your time and energy and resources trying to build this huge machine when you realize you may not need that huge machine. In fact, a lot of my clients, um, I try to take things away, if that makes any sense. When I was in business development, and it wasn't about stacking more, it was about how much can we take away, um, and just kind of make the process from point A to point B as simple as possible without all these like hoops in the middle. I think a lot of mistakes are made when these guys are trying to cram all these different things together. And most of those mistakes are made because they don't really understand how local businesses or how businesses operate to begin with. It's just sort of oftentimes it's just like, hey man, I need my house washed. Like, hey, I got this company that does houses. And you're like, okay, cool. This is what we charge. I'm like, all right, great. Come on tomorrow. And that's like about the extent of what needs to happen. Um, so with you jumping into the agency part of it, with you jumping into high level, um, what do you think? What do you think when you guys reach out to you and they ask you about starting? What would be like the one thing, the one piece of advice that you would give them?
My honest one piece of advice would be stop asking people for advice. I know that sounds kind of harsh, but they need to do their own research, do their own trial and error, jump into it all for free trials, um, run a few ads themselves. Don't be afraid to spend a little bit of money. Um, really, just like I said, man, just experience. A lot of guys when they reach out, man, they want to know how to do this, but they just want everything pretty much handed to them. Like, hey, this is what you need to do. I mean, in reality, man, I could take a snapshot of my agency and send it to a new guy, and it wouldn't help them because they don't have the experience or anything. So my advice really is to just do your own research and start to grind. And
Go ahead.
sorry, with and whenever they start building their customer base, focus on customer satisfaction. Talk to them, uh, follow up with them as far as a week into their ads, even if you haven't heard from them. Take a little loom of the ads, the ad performance, send it to the email. Hey man, your ads are doing great. How are things going with you? How are you closing the leads? Blah blah blah, etc. I have several clients that will reach out to me and say, like paver sealing guys. Okay, they're like, hey man, what are you charging where you're at for paver sealing? And I'm telling every market's different, but I'll help them out. And they'll ask me about the process, the cleaning stuff, and how to resand and seal, what sealer to use, like just the knowledge of the industry that you're serving.
Yeah. That brings me to, that's very important, by the way, and it ties back into what we were just discussing. If you are somebody who's got experience in an industry, and you may not be the one who owns a local business, but maybe your family owns it, and maybe your uncles own it, maybe a family friend, go into that industry, talk to them, learn, the processes and the customer acquisition part of it, and then go into that and offer something to them, genuinely, wanting them to be successful. Like that's kind of I feel like it's a big goal. Like you want them to be successful. You want them to, above anything else, I want you to generate some revenue and be good. Um, but I also want to talk and touch base on a thing you just mentioned, that you said you can just give somebody the exact same snapshot and it wouldn't help them. And
Mhm.
I feel like this is important, and a lot of folks, miss out on this. And business is built by design, and business is built um, by your design. So, meaning your business goal is not going to be the same as my business goal. My client, base is not going to be the same as your client base. We work with only locally owned US based local service companies. And so with that being said, we do everything from, power washing, junk cars, remodeling contractors, pool guys, masonry work, concrete stamping, pouring, that kind of stuff, right? And oftentimes I find guys that reach out and like, what industry should I target? Oh, you target this industry? I'm going to target that industry. And then they leave after like a week or so because they realize it's very difficult. But it's important because my business goals are not the same as your business goals. Like my business goals are not to grow a multi-million-dollar advertising agency,
Mhm.
because I've been in the corporate world. I've spent 15 plus years in corporate America in business development. I do not want to have 35 employees and managers and be able to manage a conglomerate like that. I want to be able to take the afternoon off and go to my kids' baseball game and my daughter's basketball practice, and take him swimming, and spend time with my family and go on vacation and still be able to be okay. So your business goals are going to be different for you than they are for somebody else. So what with that, I lean into that, and I ask you, like, what exactly are, if you don't mind sharing, like, what are your overall goals? What do you want to do with this? Do you want to grow a 35-man team, or do you want to just kind of use this as a springboard to invest in other things like real estate and maybe other businesses, uh, or even just kind of do this and retire? Well, what is your outcome with this?
Yeah. So with this agency, um, I like the fact that I can run it like you said, man. I have a little girl myself, so and I have a family, so being able to take off work and go do things and spend time with the family, that is such a huge like positive to this business. It beats working a regular job and working holidays and stuff like that. But my main goal for this business, um, like the end goal, is to pretty much have it run itself. So not have 35 employees or nothing like that. Maybe have a team of 5, 6 people or something like that, to where I can step back and they can handle the sales and the marketing and just everything, to where I can just basically it's an income source and I can step back and kind of enjoy my life with my family, if that makes any sense. um but yeah, I mean, right now I do enjoy it, man. I really do love this business. I'm really good at it, so I don't really don't mind doing it myself now though.
So, if somebody wants to reach out to you, if somebody wants you to handle their advertising and wants you to, generate these leads and help them set up systems in their business, okay, where can these folks find a little bit more about you? Where
Yeah,
do
they
they?
can just go to nextpromarketing.com. It's NEX Pro. Well, it's right here.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, nextpromarketing.com, and they can always book a call with me, and we'll go over everything.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to link your handles. I'm going to link your contact details and everything in the description of this video. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, who else to help you run ads than the guy who's owns his own local company that ran ads for himself, and then now is helping other local companies do the same thing. So if anybody's interested in that, there's going to be a link in the description that you guys can go and kind of link up and see if you're the right fit for that.
Cool. Sounds good.
I want to thank you for coming on, man, and sharing your story. I know that it's been a while back and forth trying to connect, and we finally
Yeah.
did something. So um, go out there, guys, too. If you're watching this and you're on my channel, go check out his YouTube channel, give him a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then if you guys have any questions, just kind of leave them here in the comments of this video. I'll try to get to as many as I possibly can. Thank you guys for watching.